Well, the purpose of this video is for you to be able to define matter terms and give examples of them. The first thing is matter, and matter is basically anything that has a mass and a volume. And in this case, the Lego brick, the wolf, basically anything in the picture and has mass and a volume, and here Dr. Square does as well. Or any living thing has mass and volume. Now, non-matter is something that lacks mass or volume, and the things in these pictures that fit that bill are the sound that things produce, or sounds that things produce, and light, as you see over here in that picture. Now, the next thing is a mixture. The mixtures it has two types of matter present. It says there are two different makeups, and they retain their properties. That you put them together, and they keep their identity. They don't change into something else. You look at these pieces of fruit. You can see there's different colors within the texture of the fruit, and that means basically that there are different things within the fruit of different chemical makeup, like two different colors, basically. It'd be even more apparent if you cut the fruit open. Now, a substance is something with a uniform set of properties and composition, and it's either an element or a compound. Now, not everything in the picture or pictures are elements or compounds, but the copper is considered an element, the copper pipe here and here, and the water in the glass is also a substance. The copper is a substance. I said it was an element. That means the same thing. It doesn't mean the same thing, excuse me. But all elements are substances, and water is also a substance because it's a compound. The water in the glass. The glass itself is also a compound. Now, there are two types of mixtures. There's heterogeneous and homogeneous. Heterogeneous is a mixture where it's non-uniform. It's like oil and water. I don't have oil here, but you can tell it apart. You can see that in this wood, you can tell the knot from the wood. I can distinctly see that one thing is distinct from the other. And in the rock here, you can see the same thing. One type of mineral and another type of mineral. Now, homogeneous mixtures are things that the parts are uniform. You can't tell them apart. Things like this are solutions, alloys, or air. A solution is something that has something dissolved in a liquid. A cranberry juice has sugar dissolved in it. The alloys, or two very common alloys, are things like gold, white gold, and wedding bands, and brass. They're both alloys. Steel is another very, very common alloy. Now, a compound is another type of matter, and this is when you've got two or more elements chemically combined. Two very common ones are sodium bicarbonate, baking soda, and salt, NaCl. The elements here are sodium, hydrogen, and carbon and oxygen. They're all bonded together to form one thing. They act as like one unit. And sodium and chlorine act together or come together to form salt. It's a very common compound right out of you find them in your cupboards. An element is the substance only made of one type of atom, and in this case you've got copper, that's the pipe, and then you've got oxygen, that's an element within the air around the pipe. And those are two types of elements.